What's up, people of the world? It's your girl, Lala.
And your boy, Siobhan.
And you are listening to
Talk That Shit.
With the Melvin.
Hey, you know it's been 4 weeks since we put out an episode. It's been 4 weeks.
It's been a month. Don't be that guy.
What?
How old is your baby? Oh, he's 62 months? Like
4 weeks is not a month. That's 28 days. That's only 1 month out of the year. Don't be that girl.
4 weeks is a month.
How is 4 weeks a month?
How many weeks are in a month?
Sometimes 4, sometimes 5. Depends on what day the first ends on.
You got your phone on you?
Yeah.
Go to your account.
I am right now. One, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 weeks this month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 weeks in May. I said depend on when it starts. Yeah.
When is 3 days?
Would you?
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I can't even believe you said that.
Okay, so I should have said.
And you really sat here and tried to prove me wrong.
Yeah, because I was before.
What grade did you learn that there was 5 weeks in a month? What grade?
What do you mean?
You've never learned that because there is no such thing.
I think it's more of the how many Fridays are in a month.
That's
Sometimes
called
it's 4.
How many times you getting paid that month? Okay, that don't have shit to do with how many weeks are in a month.
All right, you got me there.
I might need to turn my mic. I feel sound muffled.
You sound muffled.
Yeah. It's the green. Yeah, that's better. What's the difference between when you turn the dial and then
the dial is your headphones? Cool.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
It's been a month. It's been a month since the last time we put out.
I didn't know it's been that long. It only felt like, well, okay. I guess I was gonna say it only felt like 3 weeks. I knew for certain 3 weeks. Yeah. I didn't think it was 4 though.
It's been 4 weeks.
Interesting.
Well, I knew we wasn't gonna. Well, that's not true.
The last 2 weeks of March,
we didn't do anything.
Oh yeah, damn. Yeah, the last 2 weeks of March we didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. First 2 weeks.
Kind of intentional and unintentional.
Right.
All at the same time. And then are we in the 3rd week of April?
No, I think we're still in the 2nd. Let me look up that. Hold on. Let me look that up before we we're in the 3rd week of April. Well,
yeah, because this weekend is
18th. It's
Easter. So yeah, we have a week and a couple days
until next month.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Oh, okay. I'm like, are you confirming?
No. I'm just You're right. It's just
like
it's just crazy how time is going past super fast.
Yeah.
It's that's why I was like. I looked at our thing today, and it said haven't posted in 4 weeks. And
that's
I was
crazy.
Yeah, because each week it gives you how many people are listening on the actual app, how many people are listening on Apple, and how many people are listening on Spotify. But no, I was just telling you that it said 4 weeks.
You said that already, and then you kept going. You know, I'll be telling you, just be adding
I'd
shit.
be adding shit, yeah. Unnecessary information.
Yeah, so unintentional but intentional. Those last 2 weeks of March, and then the first 2 weeks of April was kind of like busy in a way, and we just couldn't. We was having too much fun. The time.
We was having too much fun.
No, we wasn't. You were working
in April.
Yeah. You remember you weren't supposed to work until the 2nd week of April.
Oh.
You ended up working that first week of April.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we
didn't have time.
Yeah, time just got away.
That's crazy.
I mean, not that you were getting home late, but it was late enough to where it was like, okay,
we don't want to be doing nothing
dinner
right now.
And getting the house together and then bed and Helldivers.
Right.
So yeah.
You know what I've noticed the last this is before we even get into the questions. I have a little bit of trauma behind you. Why you make that face?
You have trauma behind yourself. They don't have shit to do with me.
No.
I already know what you about to say.
What I'm about to say?
Seeing me awake at night? In the middle of the night?
No. That wasn't. No, I just know when you be like, shut the fuck up and go back to sleep. I don't trip off that no more.
But you don't.
What? Go back to sleep?
Yeah. I could have kicked the shit out of you last night.
I know you could have.
Because I just don't get it. Why? Just because I'm up, you got to be up.
No,
that's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, go ahead, finish what you say.
I'm saying but
what's your trauma? That's
my trauma is when when you don't get a good night's sleep, your eyes just get real chinky and you just look like you ready to curse everybody the fuck out.
I'm pretty sure that's the whole world.
No, that's not. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, when people don't sleep, they get a little, I don't know, grumpy, grouchy, irritated, irritable.
Yeah, but you're a person that sleep is not even in your vocabulary. So
it's not. And I'm more irritated at the fact that you didn't stay asleep in my moment of silence as opposed to not getting sleep. That's my frustration. Trust me. I'm not mad at not sleeping. I don't really give a damn. I was trying to stay up. Fucking AirPods wouldn't connect to my phone last night. That's the only reason I ended up going to sleep, because I had to update my phone, and then the shit still didn't work, and I ended up having to put them on the chart. It was a whole ordeal. I would have been up early this morning. I had a whole plan. I was like, great. Okay, cool. It's about to be 5:00. I'm about to do my Spanish homework. And then I'm going to get up and I'm going to make me a fire breakfast. I had grits, eggs, toast. I was like, it's about to be fire. Fucking AirPods didn't connect.
Because
so I couldn't do that. I don't know what the fuck it was. I couldn't do it. So, but it was crazy because yesterday my fucking AirPods wouldn't stop connecting to my phone. When I was calling the doctor's office.
Oh, you did say they kept connecting.
They kept connecting. I'm like, why? But it would ring on the phone first. And then when the answering service would pick up, the fucking AirPods would connect.
But that makes no sense. Was the AirPods out the case?
No, they were closed in the case. And I kept going, what is going on? I kept flicking over there close. It was stupid. So yeah, so I was more frustrated at the fact, like, when I get like, if I'm up, it don't matter if it's in the middle of the night. It don't matter for whatever the reason. It don't matter if it's early in the morning and everybody is still asleep. For me,
that's everything.
Those are beautiful moments. Not because like I'm sick of my family or anything like that, but I crave just like pure silence. Like, I don't turn the TV up. I may read captions. I may just sit there. I may just look at stuff. But that pure silence is like a treat for me. So when you wake up or you turn over, which last night was, like I said, it was a whole ordeal, because between the way you were snoring, how much you kept moving, and then you woke up, and then you did that yesterday also.
Yeah, I was up yesterday.
I was just like,
but were you up yesterday?
Yeah.
When I was up?
When you came in the room yesterday morning, it had to be like 6-ish. You woke up.
And I went to the
computer. You went to
the
bathroom.
Yeah, I went to the computer.
You came back and you waved at me, and I went, go back to sleep.
Right.
And you was like, ah. And then you sat down and got on the computer. Like, what part? Like, this is my silent moment.
Well, because the last week or so, I've been my arm's been tingling in the morning, or when I'm asleep, it'll wake me up out of my sleep. So that happened last night, and that happened the night before, which is why I was up. And I was like, which is why I wore my I downloaded that app, because I was like, I want to make sure that
Which arm?
Just both my arms. But when I looked it up yesterday, it just means that I'm overweight, and the way I'm sleeping is just cutting the circulation.
Even last night, your watch kept going, dong. You know how it does that when, like, if you sitting on, like.
Oh, you talking about the Siri?
No, like, if you. Of course not. Like, if you press too long or too too long on the face of the watch, it makes like this sound as if like get the fuck off of me. And you did that twice last night and I kept looking at you. And I'm like, why is his watch doing that? And then I realized he's literally laying on his watch,
Yeah.
but under the pillow on your hands. And I'm like,
What it's I looked it up because for the past week when I've been getting up, my arms, it just felt you like I know that there's other line things with my weight and stuff that's going on. So just paying attention to those things, I looked it up and it was like sleep apnea, losing weight, obesity and stuff. And I was like, damn, like I never realized these things was happening because before I used to wake up and my fucking arms be like dead and I'd be like, what the fuck is that about? But it is how I sleep. Um and I don't know, the day before when I looked it up on the computer, it scared me because it was so it's 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 not a good, it doesn't feel like pins and needles and stuff, but it just feels like my blood is doing something in my body. You know what I mean? Like
feels like your blood is
it
doing
fit
something
like
in your
if
body.
like right now, I can't feel like blood circulation going through my body right now. But when I wake up, I can feel where the circulation in my arms feel a certain type of way because of how I was sleeping. So the last 2 nights it scared me because I'm like, yo, if I'm sleeping a certain type of way, why am I now feeling what it feels like now when I always sleep like this? And I knew that my snoring was giving you a problem because my allergies and whatever, I gotta.
Your allergies don't have anything to do with your snoring because you always snore like
No,
that.
I understand that, but I just felt like it was worse last night because I couldn't breathe. And I kept waking up because I felt like it was like snot coming out my nose. So anytime I would be asleep and and I feel myself sleep, I feel something running out my nose.
Hmm.
So that's why the last 2 nights I just been up because it's not like scaring me, but it was definitely the night before. It definitely gave me like a little scare, which is why I got up and I went and looked on the computer of what it could actually be on it. And it says everything that it doesn't say nothing like crazy, but it just says like sleep apnea, obesity, and it had me type in like my age, my height, and my weight, and it was like, yeah, you're definitely obese for your weight.
I mean, we knew that.
We knew that, but I just didn't want to not do like my diligency of just. I didn't want to. I didn't. I'm gonna cut that out. 'Cause
You just be making up words, yo.
I didn't want to like just let it roll
I
over.
mean, but the internet ain't completely accurate. You need to go to the doctor. I need to call them again today.
I know.
Because they responded in the email yesterday. They were like, "Oh yeah, someone will call you shortly." Like, this is why I fucking can't stand this doctor's office, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Which doctor's office is this?
Just the one I go to in Henderson. They full of shit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm really trying to get back into Toro because I can't fucking stand these people.
Nevada's just trash with
No,
with
Nevada's
internet.
healthcare system is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Like absolute fucking trash.
Yeah. And then when I'm asleep and I feel myself in the middle of the night, I get massive headaches. And when I wake up, that's why last night I had like a migraine, and I told you that when I sleep too hard, I always have a headache. But for the last week, it's been like a little bit more than normal, and I think just because we're just looking at all the things that's going on in my body right now, and it's like before it'd be like, all right, well, let me get up and let me take some Tylenol or something or some migraine medicine. But it's the fact that we're actually going through the motion and be like, no, it can't be just a Band-Aid on it. And we need to fix it. So last night I just had number one, I was hot, and I kept feeling it coming out my nose and the tingling and my headaches. So I just was like, this is all crazy. And then you looked at me and was like, go back to sleep, motherfucker. And I was like,
That wasn't last night. I just looked at you because you was like, it's not hot to you.
I said it's not hot.
You
Yeah.
said that and then got right under the blanket.
Yeah.
So I sat there and I looked at you. Even after you laid down, I was like, this makes no fucking sense. You so hot, but you under the covers.
Yeah.
I had already got up and turned the air down last night because it was a little warm in there. And I was just like, ain't nobody got time to be.
And that's probably a conversation off the camera. Nothing. Go ahead.
You what?
No, you've said to me like before, like you're so dead to the world
You
that
are.
that you don't feel anything, and it's just I just been trying. I guess this is the way of me working on trying to feel or not be so dead to the world. So if I wake up and there's things going on in the house or somebody's up or whatever, I just be more aware of it because I could just be like, I'm going back to sleep. You know what I mean? But
You
no.
still do at times.
Okay.
I'll give you your credit. So at times.
Yeah. But I'm just, just trying to be. But like I said, the last 2-3 nights have been like far as rough is just that tingling feeling and
Why
shit.
you ain't say nothing? Because you ain't tell me.
Because you said you was getting me to the doctors. I just
Why
wanted
you
to,
ain't say nothing? Are you thinking about the right answer?
No, I'm not, no, I'm not thinking about the right answer. I'm trying to figure out why I didn't say anything to you. I'm gonna be honest, fucking shit won't stop.
That's why I always put mine up higher and then it falls.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's fucking scared though. I'm gonna keep 100. I'm scared as fuck.
Okay, well, you ain't too scared if you still want to eat cookies.
I don't care what you say. I'm gonna cut that out. You can't edit this shit. I'm gonna cut it. So they just gonna be like, oh. But yeah, I'm fucking scared, which is why I get up and run. I just do. I'm not eating no candy. Cookies. I could stop eating the cookies.
Chips, cookies.
But when I stop doing that, you look at me and be like, it's not about how much you eat.
No,
It's
no, no,
about
no, 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 no.
Oh my God, here we go.
All I'm saying is for somebody who is trying to get away from things like that, somebody of your caliber, meaning you have no control when it comes to food, no discipline. So what I'm saying is that if you just gonna stop, don't stop so cold turkey to the point where you're depriving yourself of a snack here and there, and then you just overindulge.
Right.
Because that's what people do a lot of times. They'll just take it away, and then it'll be like this intense craving because you're going through withdrawal, really.
Right.
And then they'll just overindulge, and then it just gets back to the same old habit. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying continue to eat it because why not? I'm saying be mindful that you are a person that just pops whatever in your mouth. It calls it a day. That's all
Wow.
I'm saying.
Wah, wah, wah.
Just remind me when we get off of here to call the doctor's office again.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna call Toro though. I'm gonna see if I can get in Toro. Get you into. I would prefer you to go there.
Yeah.
They're just better. They're just better overall. Like, period. In every aspect. So
That's what you said. That's why it's hard to get in there.
no, it's just hard. Just everything is hard, doctor's office wise, after COVID. For whatever reason, it's like everybody's backed up. They have too many patients. It's like, why? All of a sudden, y'all got too many.
Because everybody moved here after fucking COVID.
That's true too. I
So
didn't
it's
even think
like
about that.
you got the same doctors here taking 3 times as much people.
Yeah, my doctors were amazing when I was going there. I wish I didn't
Stop
stop going. Yeah.
I mean, you didn't know. You didn't know this was how it was going to be.
No, but still should have been going every month. I mean, no, like at least once a year just for my,
Just for it to be.
checkups and stuff. But
Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
yeah, so I'm
and
gonna
you had your doctor that left, right? That was you said was amazing.
No, my rheumatologist. He was well, he was always back and forth. I don't know if he ever fully left. And then the primary that I was seeing, she's actually still there. That's who I've been trying to get in to see. But she hasn't in almost 2 years accepted
New patient.
clients. I mean, new patients, yeah.
That's crazy.
Because it's been that long, so I'm considered a new patient. Boo. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's That's
That's the life of the Melvins in the
no, no,
last
no,
4
no,
weeks.
no. Our 3-year-old, our 6-year-old, which is our last child, got
Colin,
got a lineup yesterday.
he got his first lineup and he lost his first tooth all in the
Man,
same
it's a
week.
lot. Yeah, it's been
I ain't got no more babies. It's sad, but it's also not sad, you know? I was thinking about it last night when I was on the toilet. And
He was on the toilet.
yes, I had a stomach ache last night. That's why I was up initially. And then your snoring kept me up.
See, that's that shit. That's
I
why I
told
be.
you I was going to have a stomach ache last night. Remember, I was like, I'm just kind of in like a eating mood. I just kind of want to snack on everything. And
But
you
you
were like,
didn't snack on anything.
I had a cookie and I had a
Big
piece.
ass, like
I
a
had a
little ass kid.
cookie
Man.
and I had a piece of bread. I know.
what?
It's
What
not
is?
really snacking on
Bruh, I'm
everything.
like,
I don't know, but my stomach is real finicky. I can't eat more than I should.
you and your
And last
dad.
night that was one of those moments for me. And I knew better. I told you I was like I'm gonna have a stomach ache
You
if I
and,
keep eating.
you and your daddy. You got stomach problems.
I know. Anyway, yes. So I was thinking about it last night while I was on the toilet, and I realized as much as we've wanted in the last few years to have another baby,
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with not having another one. And it's not to say like it's not like, oh, because kids are just too much. It's not that
Right.
realization. It's just the realization of we don't have babies.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like at this point, although Colin was born, Colin is at the age right now. Nathan was Colin's age when Colin was born.
Right. That
So
just
Nathan
sounds
was
like a tongue
6. I
twister.
know. Nathan was 6 when Colin was born. So technically it would be around like that same thing if we ever, I mean, you know what I mean? But I just feel like it just wasn't, clearly it's not meant to be. But
Right.
I'm okay with that because the older, I mean, they're going to continue to grow older, but I won't ever be starting over. And I think that that's great.
Right.
I've done the baby stuff, the diapers, the formula, well, ish.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, I'll just have to find somebody else's kids to
You got
spoil.
tons of those.
Yeah.
You got tons of those.
Yeah,
They ain't even all here yet.
true. So,
Just spoil it.
yeah, so he lost a tooth and he got his first lineup
And he talks so
all in
much
the
shit.
same week. He don't talk shit, he's just smart as shit.
He talks shit.
Just like he told you last night.
He-
You said I play Poppy's playtime 1, 2, 3, and 4. He said, yeah, but it's the same thing because they're connected.
Smart
I was in
ass
the
kid.
bathroom
I heard you. You was like,
yeah, he was like, so chapter 1, chapter 2,
Two, and
chapter
chapter
3,
three,
chapter 4.
it's
It's all the
all
same
same.
because they're connected.
I
I was like, he's not technically wrong. It's
that's why I shut the fuck up.
one big ass game. It just got cut up. So
That's why I shut the fuck up.
mm-hmm.
That's why I shut the fuck up.
Like-
But yeah, my Big Mern was in my dream last night.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, you know what she said to me? She said to me,
Big Mern is his grandma.
yeah, Big Mern is my grandma. Doesn't matter if it was then or now. It would always have always been a problem.
Really? You know, it's so funny that you said that because I was thinking about her yesterday, involving, the current circumstance. And I said to myself, what would Myrna Keat be saying right now? But then I had this thought of a time when she was like, but that's your wife. She said that to you. That's
Mhm.
your wife.
Right.
And that's your husband. And it clicked for me that now I'm not saying like she would be taking sides, but she always understood that dynamic of husband and wife.
Right.
And that's so crazy
Yeah,
that
she
you had
said.
that
She
dream.
said. Yeah, she looked at me, and I was like in a room, and she looked at me, and she was like, "Doesn't matter if it was then or now, it's gonna always be a problem.
Mm,
You're not the problem.
mm,
The issue is the problem."
mm.
And I woke up.
That's wild.
Yeah, I was like, damn, like,
That's so crazy because I swear on my life, I was like, "Damn,
but
what would
that's
she be
yeah, but
saying
that's
right
you and
now?"
your Professor X type shit. You know what I mean? You be making shit, but yeah, that's when and when I woke up, I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? That's my art, but yeah, that's what she said in my dream last night,
Mm,
and that's all I remember dreaming about was this that one part. So that really puts things in perspective because you know I always said like when we talk about those things, I'll be like, I should have did it back then.
yeah.
It just would
It
have been
w
it just would
yeah,
have been a problem back then.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh,
I
well,
you
you
know what's
waited.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy too? I as of recently, I keep saying to myself, had I not felt like righting wrongs in 2019, would we even be here right now?
Wait.
Because the situation back then is the same situation that is right now.
That was 2019.
When I called her or when I texted her,
Yeah.
yeah, because Colin had just been born. Remember, I kept saying, I don't know what it is. Something is making me feel like we need to do this or I need to do this. And he was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm not gonna say like I pushed that relationship on you or anything like that, but I definitely was like, okay, like that's,
I
your
I
thing, and we
I
should,
I think that
because you was not thinking about her.
no, not at all, not at all, because like it's there's that there's that like we can talk about it for hours about how somebody was brought up or how somebody feels about certain stuff, but there's still little things in me where I just be like, that's not who I am.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm into. That's not how I deal with things,
yeah,
and I've always been like a that shit can stay over there. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But then you have people, I would say like you, that just be like, nah, I'm gonna settle this because I want to make sure that everybody knows where we stand at in here.
yeah,
And I think that whatever happened in 2019, I think that was your closure of being like, I was the
go ahead.
not I was the bigger person, but I extended these arms out to make sure everything was right. And whoever fucks up after this
Yeah,
is that's your part.
I
That's your
I
fault.
think like that a lot. I think like
Right.
that in any
This is
situation
we need some new ones. This shit's
or
crazy.
confrontation that I've ever experienced. Like, okay, I did my part
Right.
and I tried, and if it doesn't work after that, then so be it. It is what it is.
Right.
So yeah, I like hold myself to that standard
Right.
of like, if you don't try, how could you ever actually know?
Mm-hmm. Right,
You
right.
know?
And for me to know that you are like that, and for me to be like, I'm not trying because that shit's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a cap out or a cop out. To be like,
I mean, it
I know where this can go and I know how this is going to end. But at the end of the day, I know that person.
yeah.
I know those people over there. It's kind of like somebody being like, well, don't just invite them. They're not going to come. And it's like, if I know that they're not going to come, so why am I going to extend my hand
Yeah.
to invite them or even invite them in my life or do these things when we know you ain't going to come?
Yeah.
So
I think that that's fair. We're so different in that way because for me, not dealing with it comes off as like how you always say like, oh, I was trying to keep the peace.
right.
That's how things come off to me. Like if you don't deal with it, then it'll always be there waiting to be dealt with.
But
And
go ahead.
sometimes I feel like maybe that's not the case.
Right, because sometimes when you keep the peace, you know because you know who you are as a person. You know where you stand or you know your standards for how things are.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know how somebody else is going to react. You don't know
Right.
how somebody else is going to respond to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not my problem that you're going to respond a certain way, because at the end
Right.
of the day, I got to stop with the end of the day. Because how I live my life and how I think about things is totally different the way you think.
Yeah.
So you stay over there and think the way you think, and I'm gonna continue on, and we never gonna see eye to eye.
I think that too. Well, one, to say, we said that yesterday when we were eating. We just have to chalk it up to, we parent different,
Right.
and
We life different.
we life different. Yeah,
Yeah, we
we
life
life different
we
for
life
sure.
different for sure from a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people will look at our situation and be like, "What the fuck is
A
that
lot of
about?"
people do look at our situation and are extremely mind boggled by the way that we live, have lived, and
Choose to live.
desire
Mhm.
to live,
Right.
in the future even.
Right.
And yeah, so yeah, I it's just it's very disappointing that people um don't understand to agree to disagree.
Right.
I think, if everybody was just like, okay, well, that's how y'all do that, and this how we do that, and
But they
we
but
ain't gotta like it, and we ain't gotta love it,
but
and
it comes off as, because they don't have to like it means it's affecting them.
well, I mean, and that's their own issue, because if how I life doesn't actually affect how you life, or what you decide to do in life, it it shouldn't affect you. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
as long as what I'm doing doesn't impact your life in any type of way. And by that meaning, I'm not hurting you. And hurting you, I guess, is more subjective, right?
Mhm.
Like, what I may think isn't hurtful may be hurtful to you. But I also think that that's where being having communication comes in. Like, okay, well, I know this is how you do things. My feelings were a little hurt behind that. Okay, I can respect that. I'm not going to apologize because I didn't do anything to you,
Right.
but I can respect that your feelings are hurt. Maybe, you
But
could
that's
switch
a
it up a little bit
but that
from there.
but that consists of being mature about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people just think that they're already mature.
Yeah.
And they can't say that if that hurt me or
Right.
that made me feel a certain type of way.
Right.
It would be like, bitch, what I don't understand that shit, so that shit's corny.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instead of somebody being like, hey, like we had this conversation the other day. Hey, I miss you. Hey, where you been at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of it being like, oh, well, like creating
It's rage behind
right.
it.
It's like creating something, because that is a defense mechanism for somebody to be like, this is what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Over here is it's not even the issue. The issue is right here.
Yeah.
This is how I feel.
Something so simple
Something
gets
so simple.
turned into something so complex for no reason.
Yeah, just like people in our lives where we lose them and they come and go, and it's like, well, you did this to me, or you said this to me, or I just said fuck you, and it's like, I'm not the issue.
Yeah.
You're the issue.
You just don't
like,
or you don't agree with the way that I choose, again, to life.
and you can't control it.
And you can't control it, and that bothers you.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't be the big head honcho to come in here and everybody fall to your knee. Right. Yeah, so
wild.
Yeah, so I like I said, it's just been.
If y'all can't catch it, this is low-key an update on our life.
No,
and who knew? Like, we talk every day.
We do.
Y'all know we talk. Like, we talk every day. These are this is a conversation we've had, but it's, for whatever reason, I feel like when we get on here and we talk about something, everything always goes just a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, because we've had these conversations.
Right.
It's just certain things happen in between the time we had the conversation and then us having maybe another conversation or whatever.
Right. I realized, and I also realized, I mean, it's not an update on it. It's this a venting session, I guess. No.
Well, no, that's what I said. It's kind of like these. I mean, these are the things that have transpired in the last 4 weeks that
Right.
we've been absent on here.
I just turned 40, right? Feels amazing. Besides his weight. Um, I will say, well, I can't say that because I was 10 years old. I don't know. You know what? I can say that. Which Chummy's 13, right?
Yes.
27 years of my life, I've lived for somebody else.
Hmm. I said the same thing to
Yeah.
you though.
I've lived for somebody else. And I think within the last year, realizing, because you could be like, nah, it's something else. Nah, it's something else. Like you try to like fake it and be like, nah, 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 nah. But to really understand that I have lived 27 years of my life for somebody else,
Hmm.
for not me.
Yeah.
And then when you break that mode of not trying to live your life for somebody else, now you crazy.
Mm.
Now you got problems. Now you got mental health problems. Now you are saying crazy things. Now this is not who you were. You're right. And I realized that's who I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
So yes. just like I said, like this, our platform is so damn powerful on how we move, how we say certain things, and I'm glad that we have this platform to
Yeah.
talk about anything that we want. But this platform has also sparked conversation and deeper conversations with me and you to make us look at each other and be like, damn, we're not perfect.
But you know what's funny? I feel like
That candle smells so good.
huh?
That candle smells so good.
Can't even smell it.
Oh, I can smell it.
I feel like it's taken you a lot longer to be honest with yourself than it has for me.
No, hands down.
Even with things that I have pointed out or I've mentioned or I've asked you about, and I'm big on like understanding.
Yeah, you are.
I'm so like, how they say like curiosity killed the cat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm such a curious person. Just in life, period. You know what I mean? It don't matter if I'm watching a documentary on animals and I'm like learn something new and then I'll go further into research on my own,
I
or
think
if
that's why
it's
you watch documentaries.
yeah, or if it's some true crime, or like just anything. I'm just such a curious person, and so with you, and from my perspective, lying to yourself about
Who I am.
who you've been, um I always just, and that's why I always be like, I just don't get it. I'll tell him like we'll be talking, I'll be like, I just don't understand. And he'd be like trying to explain it to me. He was like, does that make sense? I'm like, no. Like I just don't get it. Like I so deeply crave to understand the person that he has told me he actually is.
Mhm.
And then I so deeply want to understand how he became such a twisted person from who he says that he actually is. And it just like,
It's night and day.
and maybe that's why, maybe like you just now really in that like this last year really having that understanding about yourself is why you haven't been able to get through to me. Because
Right.
I feel like and I mean, I could be, my mind is warped, but like maybe I'm just not understanding, because that could be a thing, right?
hmm
But I feel like I do really like, I listen. I listen very hard
Right.
because I want to understand so badly. So it's like, to myself, I'm like, okay, yeah, no. He just don't, maybe he just don't know how to explain it to me. Or maybe it's not an explainable thing. Maybe, you know what I mean? And sometimes I try to be like, okay, not agree to disagree, but like, you just won't get it. But that pisses me off because I want to understand so bad. So maybe what I'm saying is, maybe, you having that realization within the last year is probably why it's been so many years of me like, I don't get it.
Yeah, because you got to think it's there's the who I really am, and then there's the who I want to be.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain. It's
Both.
Yeah, right. It's hard to explain both, but it's like who you actually are is unexplainable.
Yeah. Because it's natural.
Right.
So it's like,
Like I'm not a sexy guy at all. I don't
mm,
have no swag. I don't have anything. But how I present myself and when during the times of me knowing during the times of the good times of me presenting myself, that is how that is how I look, as the kids say, Riz.
oh my God.
No, but that is my like looking at Chum, right?
Vaughn, our oldest.
Our oldest, okay. Call him Chum. They probably know.
I just don't be wanting people to think his name is Chum.
Right. They named their son Chum.
Right.
Um Looking like the other day, like looking at him in like it was like looking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why it just like made me feel a certain type of way because he's so authentic. But he has those variables that I had
Mm-hmm.
of trying to be something that I'm not.
I don't even necessarily think it's him trying to be something that he's not. I think he's trying to figure out who
Yes.
he is.
Right.
And so he tries everything,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Right.
Every style, every way to speak. But like I was telling you the other day, like when it comes to him, I know who he is. And he is very much a person of he holds himself to a very high standard,
Right.
and he challenges himself to be better
Mm-hmm.
in all ways. Um and so I think because of that, it puts him in a place of, he has to try everything to see what he does or what he doesn't like, to then challenge himself to be better at whatever those things are.
Right.
But with you, yours was more conditioning from people around you.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Because it's like an open wound of like, hey, you should put this on there. You should
Yeah.
put that on there. And it's like, I just need some sunlight and some water.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely yours was more being
Right.
conditioned, as opposed to like, well, I don't know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to figure it out. It was like you knew exactly who you were, but the people that were supposed to be the most supportive of that were the people that wanted to change you into what they wanted to change you
Right.
into.
It's kind of like somebody being like, you got to have a backup plan for something. It's like, why do I need to have a backup plan?
Yeah, like if you know what you want to do and you are all game to do whatever the necessary steps are, then
You should be
why
doing
is anybody questioning or trying to deter you from that? It should just be like, okay, that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. How can I help?
Right. How can I help
But
you?
yours was for so many years the complete opposite. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crazy realization to have, and not in a bad way at all. I think that's
I think
beautiful.
it's a great step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
You know, but we haven't even gotten to none of the questions yet. That's crazy.
Well, okay, so I know one that they wanted me to answer about these true crimes, the staircase murder,
Mm-hmm.
um, which was like this writer. His wife fell down the stairs and she died.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually don't even remember who was convicted of the crime. I don't remember if they convicted the husband or if it was somebody else they convicted. I'm leaning towards it was the husband, the writer.
Right.
He was living like a double life anyway.
The writer was?
Yeah, he was like he claimed that the wife knew he was like a cross dresser. He was bisexual.
That's crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah, we
Okay.
watched it and it
We
was
did what?
actually really boring to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we
It
was
really
like, what the
wasn't my
fuck?
cup of tea as far as true crime
Yeah.
goes. But and then the other one was the
Gone in the Night
Gone in the Night, aka the
Killer.
Golden State Killer. I think it was something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The one that they asked me about, I didn't watch. It was the actor's wife, which she was a writer. She became like this huge true crime blogger. She investigated herself that crime, but I watched just that case sometime before that. I think that one had even come out. I'm not really sure. Either way, I seen it and I looked it up yesterday just to like refresh, or a couple days ago. And the guy that they caught, they found his fluids on these victims. And I
That's
mean,
crazy.
we could sit back and be like, okay, well, maybe they all just so happen to have sex with the same guy. Not likely.
Why you start dancing when you said that? That was crazy.
I'm just saying, not likely. And so the question was that the people convicted, did I feel like they should be let out or let off,
Mm-hmm.
or are they where they're supposed to be, or something to that sense, right?
Jail, and jail.
Yeah, I don't even know what the question actually is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if they have your DNA on multiple women that were raped and or murdered, I don't care if you're 600 years old, you're going to rot for however much time left you have.
It's not like you were watching the one where the guy was like, yeah, they came in and kidnapped my girl, and they actually really kidnapped their girl.
Yeah. So, to answer your question, if I'm remembering correctly and these men were the proper men, or the right men that committed these crimes, then they should rot wherever they are.
Right.
That's how I feel. I mean, like, the guy was 2018 when they arrested and charged him, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mistaken. He was old as shit. And they said the only thing he said was, I did these things to all these people, almost as if like dementia set in or something to that sense. But I don't care if you forgot what you did. If it's there, it's there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to continue life because you don't remember something that you did. If you
Right.
did it, you did it, and that's the end of that. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch him again. I don't know, but my standing is, if it was proven and it is undeniable, you sit in jail. Period.
Right.
In prison.
Jail.
Yeah.
All right. So second question is, damn, this is disrespectful. Lala Melvin and co-host Siobhan.
You don't want to call yourself
I'm
co-host.
the co-host. Hopefully this gets to you and you can answer this question. Do you ever wake up and not want the life you have and wish you was somewhere else? Rather what other I probably copied that wrong. Rather other way you rather whatever way you answer, please share.
I've spoken about this before. There was a time, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say, there was a time where I felt like I don't want to be a mom,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to be a wife, And it wasn't necessarily based around the fact of I hated my life or didn't want my life. It was I think it was just in a time of me trying to really understand me,
You? I was about to say
because
you.
I never felt like a mom until I had Colin. I didn't like I had kids, and yes, they called me mom or mommy or whatever, but I never felt like a mother until I had Colin. On top of that, we got married, and literally months after getting married, some bullshit. And so for me, it was like, sorry, honey. For
It's
me,
fine.
for me, it was
I
kind of
did it, so
like,
I mean,
and then, you have these two things, and then you start to think about everything that's led up to those two things. I think we talked about this on here.
we did.
You intentionally impregnating me to
Don't do that, because if they come knocking to the door and take me to jail, you gotta be like,
it don't matter. Intentionally impregnating me for his own purposes.
yeah.
Things that I wasn't aware of.
Hmm.
Um so it was like, okay, well, you're asking for these kids, which we had our oldest, and then after him, he was like, he needs a sibling. And I was like, okay, like, I'm game. Like, it is what it is. Um
I can't believe I said stuff like that.
So
Oh my
it was
gosh.
like, you think about all these things, you think about the things that you've been through, or I did anyway.
Hmm.
And so at that point when I was like, I told you guys I would run, because that's what I treadmill, get on the treadmill. And it was a point where I would just be running, and I would just feel like I'm not going to stop. I'm just
Yeah.
going to run, and I'm just going to never come back. And it wasn't ever in like a literal um feeling or like a literal thought, but it was just like, I need an escape.
Hmm.
And this is one of those things why I always tell people about when they say, "Oh, I want to be a stay-at-home mom." And it's like, why do y'all say that? You know what I mean? Like, people just assume that being a stay-at-home mom or homemaker, um, that is just so sit on your butt. You don't do too much. It's kind of like you chilling, and you getting paid to chill in a way,
No,
cuz
no,
cuz
no.
daddy's bringing home the check regardless. But it's like, it is the complete opposite of what everybody thinks it is. And then you have to also think that you're literally, even if your kids are in sports, your every move is based off of your kids, your home, and your significant other.
Hmm.
And then you're in those four walls all day long, every single day, over and over and over and over. And although our relationship wasn't bad, it wasn't good either.
Right.
So there's all these things that just continue to like boil over. And not because you're not saying anything, but because there's not understanding on one end. It's really a one-sided situation, and you're just kind of like alone.
Right.
Um yeah, so I've never not wanted my children, but I've always, not always, but there was a point where I definitely needed a major shift in my life. Otherwise, shit probably would have went really left for me.
Right. It's crazy that we we always refer or go back to this every once in a while.
Mhm.
What I find funny, and well, it's not funny. What I find
Interesting.
interesting is, if I was in the right state of mind, I still think we would have been having kids, not at that moment, but closer to that moment.
Yeah, no, totally. But I said that to you. Like, had you been like, want to have a baby? I would have been like, yes, because I already knew. I mean, I was 20. 20 going on 21.
What the shit?
And so I wouldn't have been opposed to it. But like you said, it may be a little later. And I always said that I didn't want to be 28 having my first kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? I thought that was, and to each his own, but I thought personally that was weird that you want to wait till you're in your 30s to have your first child. So I would have been game if he would have asked me.
But I think that that's a different person.
Yeah, no, it is.
You know what I mean? Because that person that's going to ask you is a person that has self-confidence, that knows that you're there for them, and not just trying to make decisions without you not knowing.
Yeah.
And trying to trap you because there's a possibility that you could be with somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's I feel like if that person asks you to have a baby, all the bullshit that led up to all of that, it's not there.
Yeah.
A whole nother person.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's funny because I know y'all probably gonna be like, damn, he trapped her low key. Why you stay with him? Because first of all, I didn't find out that was even a thing until my kids was like 10.
Drip, drip,
So,
drip, drip.
I mean, at this point, what can I do? It's not that
All right,
easy.
so if you find out I trap you, let's say 6 months into chum,
I think it would have been different. I would have felt betrayed.
I'm glad I told you when they was 10.
Yeah, I would have felt used. And
see, that's a whole nother conversation though.
Yeah, I would have definitely been like, wow.
I was giving you all this. I was willing to give you this, and you.
I mean, and I still felt that way. I didn't feel betrayed, but I definitely felt like that was dumb because you didn't have to do all of that.
Right.
But then at that time, I would have definitely, especially because after having them, my body was so fucked up. Like, actually. And I don't mean physically fucked up. Still is. But I mean, but I'm saying we're speaking in terms of the first two, really.
Mm-hmm.
Internally, my body was fucked. And it wasn't much that I was able to do about it.
Right.
And so had I found out, I mean, shit, I think even if I had found out after having Nathan, because they're only a year and a half apart, I still would have been like, that's fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. So not only did you trap me with the first one, you convinced me knowing that I would have done it anyway to have another one.
That's a weird situation.
It is very weird. But like I said, situation is totally different had I found out when they were extremely young as opposed to them being 10 years old and me being like, damn, who does that? I mean, remember when you told my brother and he was like, wait, that's real? And I was like, that's what I was told. And he was like, whoa, that's crazy. Trapping somebody is crazy. It is. It's absolute madness. But,
I just wanted you in my life.
I understand. I mean, I'm great. So I get it.
I was like, she ain't going nowhere.
I'm great. And then, I mean, my kids are amazing too. So anybody would have been lucky to have babies with me.
Yeah. But you also, it's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. I don't think we have.
I hope that answered. Anything? No? You've never wanted?
Hell no. Well, have you ever, let me look at the question. Before you, this, I gotta sit up for this shit. Before you, there was so many things that I wish that I can do differently.
Mm-hmm.
Places that I wish I was not at.
Yeah.
People I wish I was not with.
Yeah.
So that's a whole.
So yes.
Hell yeah, more than once. More
That's
than
so
5.
crazy. I'm hungry. My stomach is
Oh
growling.
my God. My
Yo,
stomach.
I was plotting
I
last night
know.
/ this morning. I
I
was
didn't
up
know
at
you were.
I got up 12:30. It was like 12:32.
That's what time you got up?
Yeah, I was up till 5 o'clock.
How was you up
That's
at
why I said I was plotting on my.
How was you up at 12? I went to sleep at 11 watching
It was
The
12.
White
It was
Lotus.
like 12:36. Yeah, I finished the season because I didn't feel like looking for the remote. I mean, I saw it, but I didn't feel like moving because if I moved, I knew if I moved, then you would move and you might wake up. And then when the remote dropped, I was like, "Fuck, he's gonna wake up," and you did. But anyway, yeah, I finished the season. I don't know what you get from that show. It's fucking weird, but yeah. But yeah, it was 12:30. You had clearly just not too long fallen asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 12:30.
Who was shooting?
Who's shooting?
Yeah, who was shooting?
That dude with the bald spot in his head. I don't know what his fucking name. Richard. I don't know.
The dude with the girlfriend?
They all got girlfriends.
No, it was a guy it was the man with the family who was about to get raided by the FBI.
Yeah.
It was the 3 girls, the girlfriends who were
Yeah.
And then it was the guy with he's like from a lot of shit, but he had like the open shirt.
Yeah,
And he was infatuated with
teeth.
Yeah, he was the one shooting?
Yeah, because the old man was his daddy. And he thought the old man killed his daddy because that's what the mama said. And so he ended up killing the old man. And then his wife was like, he was your father. And then it was a full-on shootout with his 2 bodyguards. And then the Thai dude, what was his name? Go.
Oh, I know you're talking
whatever.
about.
He killed him.
Oh,
he got a promotion. So now he the old lady bodyguard. The old man's wife, he her bodyguard now. And then the friends, they had a whole beef because one friend slept with one of the guys that she was like trying to push the friend to hook up with. So she slept with him. They had beef over that. So she slept with the homeboy to him. And then they made up at the end. The guy, I guess they was going broke or some shit. I don't know. But he tried to kill his family. He thought about it anyway. And then because everybody kept talking about how they couldn't live being poor. And so he was like, fuck, like, what do I do? So he plotted to kill everybody except the younger brother, because the younger brother was the only one who was like, I could live without money. Like, it's not that big a deal. But then he left what he tried to use to kill them in the blender. And then the boy made a protein shake. So he drank that shit and he died, but he came back at the end. But also, he was going through because him and his brother, the older brother, slept with the chick to the old man of the wife, Stifler's mom.
Oh, her husband.
Yeah, so the girl he was messing with, she slept with the brothers, and the younger brother off the big brother during.
What the fuck?
And that's why I was like, I don't know what the fuck you get out the show. This shit's fucking weird.
Well,
so
go ahead.
The black woman from last season,
right? She knew that
she was really good friends with Stifler's mom.
Right, and she knew that he was there, so she confronted him.
Yeah, and so he offered her $100,000 because he was like, this is what she would have wanted, but also like, I'm asking you to keep quiet that you know that I'm here. So her son came and her son was like, fuck that. We about to play this. Like, we gonna play it how we want to play it. So at first he was like, let's get $1 million. So when they went and sat down and talked to dude, he was like $5 million. And dude was like, okay, I gotta think about it. And then he wired that shit to her and they left Thailand. That's all you missing them. I watched from episode 4 to 8, I think it was.
Yeah, because I fell asleep on. Damn.
Yeah. I ain't missed nothing. That's everything that happened, actually.
Yeah, because it started off with them
and then the
shooting.
guys that robbed the hotel, it turned out to be the guy that actually worked at the hotel, Valentine.
Oh, I knew
him
that.
and his homeboys.
Because he wasn't.
Because they can't go back to their country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw that. Well, I knew that was what you saw that when he hit him with the gun.
Yep. That's everything that happened. Shit's the fuck weird. I don't know what you get from that.
Well, the first 2 seasons were good. This one season was kind of like, y'all got to finish it.
Yeah, it was odd. I'm like, all of this touching on each other like y'all siblings
Yeah,
touching
none
on
of
each
none
other.
of that
Shit's-
shit did it on the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, no, it was weird as fuck. I was like, this is odd. Yeah, because the old man, Stifler's mom's husband,
Yeah, because she went crazy. She started shooting motherfuckers at the end of the second season.
the girl he was messing with, he wanted her to sleep with the brother in front of him because he has some weirdo ass fantasy from his mom and dad or some shit like that.
Yeah, he spoke about that. That's why she tripped out.
Yeah, so that's
That's weird.
yes.
That's
Anyway, we
Wow.
got there because my fucking stomach is growling at this point because the bitch is hungry. I was like, ooh, do I want to make grits and toast and eggs, or do I want to go eat some kimchi stew? I was like, I got options. And then my fucking AirPods wouldn't work. And so I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go back to sleep because my eyeballs started burning anyway.
Wow.
So next. And then this could be the
This
last,
is the last
one.
one.
We'll close it out.
What's up, Melvin crew?
Howdy.
This Dadito from Miami. Yeah, Miami.
Okay.
Miami.
We got somebody out here repping where they from.
Do you think it's harder for a man to break up than a woman? Let me know, crew.
You know what's funny?
Yes.
I would probably say yes. I think it depends on the person.
Man, it was hard as hell.
I think it depends on the person because I know guys that are just like, I don't want, like I'm good. I'm straight.
I wish.
I know guys that are like that.
That's a different type of superpower.
And then I know girls that are just like,
That's you.
I'm cool.
That's you.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I kind of feel like, would you rather drag it out or?
I dragged it out.
And I feel like there's a lot of people like that, man and woman.
Yeah, I dragged it out because I don't want to be looked at as a bad guy.
You know, I've heard a lot of men say that too.
Yes.
And I think that that's weird. You rather be unhappy than be a bad guy in somebody's story. You're going to be a bad guy in somebody's story somewhere anyway.
And I realize that now. But before, I never wanted to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
There was times where it'd be like a week, 2 days, and I'd be like, I'm good.
I would probably say then, yes, it is harder for a man to break up with a woman because I feel like they don't want to be looked at a certain type of way. I don't know. That's so hard because I feel like women are so emotionally attached to a guy.
Right.
For whatever reason. And I think a lot of times women are holding on to this idea that they can make him better or fix him or change him. And so they hold on, even though they know they have to break up. And even when it comes to breaking up, like they'll talk to their girlfriends about it, but then they'll like draw back from it. Like, I know I have to, but it's just so hard because he needs me type shit. And I feel like there's, I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe yes.
Listen.
For guys, because you guys I don't think any man actually wants to hurt a woman's feelings because
don't.
I feel like most men, if not all men, have some type of knowledge based around like, that's a woman.
Right. You gotta respect.
Kind of got to be, not even respect her, just you kind of got to be careful with a woman's feelings. You know, they're not as tough as men, and which is true. And I think so. So yeah, I would say probably a man is harder to break up with a woman than it is for a woman to break up with a man.
I was in 4 dreadful relationships where I could have been.
Damn, that's tough.
4 dreadful relationships where I drug out where they should have been ended within 2 days. He just came in and just grabbed some bread and some cookies.
Is that what he had? Cookies?
Well, first of all,
he just laughed.
First of all,
I was trying to figure out because he was trying to hide it.
No, first of all, he went over there and bit the bread before he got the second piece.
I'm weak.
Yeah, 4 relationships where I knew that. I'm watching this shit go down.
Yeah, I see it. Maybe you should just angle your mic up. There you go.
Yeah, 4 relationships where they lasted over 2 weeks and they should have only lasted a day.
Shit.
To the point where it just was like, it's going to sound like some weird shit. To the point where you're just like, I prefer you to cheat on me, but when you get cheated on, you like, what the fuck? Why you cheat on me?
That's crazy as hell. So you was looking for a reason.
Looking for a reason to get out, and then got the reason, and then was like, what the fuck is that about? You know what I mean?
That's some psychotic shit right
Yo,
there.
that's super psychotic.
I would never.
Super psychotic shit. Where it's like,
How you look for the opportunity to, and you get the opportunity to,
it's some
and
crazy
you
shit.
tarnish the opportunity
yeah, it's
too.
some crazy shit. And I was like, you know what? You know, people like, oh, that was a bullet dodge. Me, I was like, who fuck cheating on me?
Just mad.
Pissed.
That's crazy.
Mad. Mad ain't even the word. Is what the fuck? Like, what you? Let's fight.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What was his name?
Oh, hold on. Dadito.
Let me see.
It's D-A-D-I-T.
Daddy.
No, that's Daddy. I'm not going to put Daddy-O. I just copy it straight from the thing and put it in my notes.
I know. I'm saying maybe like it's a username.
Daddy-O.
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 Daddy-O. I don't know. The Tito? The Tito?
Shout us out.
I wish I knew exactly how to say your name, but
right.
Thank you, Miami.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we getting yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting question because now I'll be sitting here like, damn, who do be like struggling? But I would say men for sure.
I think a lot of people struggle with relationships when they don't want to be labeled as the bad person, because that type of information spreads like wildfire.
What, that somebody broke up with you?
Yeah, because it's
well,
always.
I know I've heard.
It's.
I've heard a lot of men be like, I don't want to be in her group chat. Like they ain't gonna be talking about me in the group chat.
Right, and then it's because you have some girls where they be like, you got some girls that be like, fuck him, and anybody he knows, I'm gonna be like, he's an asshole. Got a little dick. You know how they talk bad about somebody, and it's like, but if it's the other way, you be like,
it's kind of just like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. Well, why you stop? Man, we just.
But you do got some men that be acting like straight bitches, and they will do that same thing.
Oh yeah,
talk about her. She stink, and she this. It was loose. And it's like,
I was in there like hello.
Like, why you mad, bro?
Bruh, stop.
But I do think men struggle with that for sure.
I know firsthand. Firsthand struggle.
Yeah, I don't. So you're probably right.
Struggling like, well, you be like, kick in the door, gotta leave right now. Peace out. Peace out. You said what? Did you just say there and use the wrong there? I'm leaving. But we going over there. Did you say THIER or TH?
EI.
Huh?
THEI. Isn't it EI? THE.
THIER.
Oh yeah, IER. I don't know why I'm looking at Colin's sight words right now. Like, is it EI?
Yeah, no, you're just hardcore. Yeah, I've multiple years where I'm just like,
TH.
How did I do this? And then I sit back and be like, look at you. You gonna write it down?
I feel like I need to. I'll look at it.
Crazy. But yeah, we back.
Yes.
We happy to be back. And
I hope you guys enjoyed this update on the Melvin's life. I didn't realize what this last month has been.
It's been a lot.
We celebrated our birthdays. That was part of the reason why we didn't do podcasts in the last 2 weeks of March. His is the 21st and then mine is the 31st.
Broke my tooth.
He did. Chipped his tooth right on the edge. Yes. Trying to help the boys put a toy together.
And
but
like we said, that was
it was a
sign.
Blessing.
It was a blessing because now it makes me want to get everything situated. Next time y'all see me, I'm gonna look like Kratos.
Oh my god.
Or Michael B. Jordan from Creed.
I'm not opposed.
I have been working out.
Yeah.
I've been doing what I got to do.
Yep. Proud of you.
I know my app keeps telling me, like, you supposed to work out today.
I'm just not there yet. I don't know why my body does this to me.
Your body.
It be like, sit down, girl.
Your,
Be like, no, I gotta go run. Be like, no, you don't. Sit down,
your
girl.
body is banging.
It ain't.
Shit. We put you on the internet. It's gonna be like 1 million followers, subscribers.
I don't want to be on nobody's internet.
I know you don't.
Anyway, y'all just listen to
Talk that shit
with the Melvin.
We out this thing.
Bye.
Peace out.